Hey everybody, look who's here with me. Don Diamont of The Bold and the Beautiful, celebrating 40 years this month on CBS daytime. You know him from Brad Carlton on The Young and the Restless and Dollar Bill Spencer on The Bold and the Beautiful. Don, thank you for taking some time. This has been an amazing week, has it not, for you?
Crazy week with the tribute, crazy week of work. It's been, it has been, but wonderful, extraordinary, really. I that that little that little shindig was. I don't know what I expected, but I certainly didn't expect that.
Well, I will tell you that I have been to many of these shindigs, like you said, many of these on-set celebrations, and there was nothing more emotional and beautiful than yours. And all of us were saying it, and I think it was because everybody was so honest and truthful and succinct with their feelings about you. And I've just never seen the love like that for somebody. And I was a mess the whole time. So I don't know how you.
I could start again. I would get to start getting emotional again right now. I was so taken, taken aback, and so moved, so deeply touched. Brad, I mean, he kicked it off, and Brad has done a lot of these speeches, of course, and I thought that it would be relatively matter of fact. A couple of chuckles and
And here he is.
and there he is. And that was a one of the funnier moments. But oh my goodness, when he hit me with "My dad thought of you as a son," I mean that. There he is. There is my fearless leader, my champion, as I said. But when he brought up his dad, it just, oh my goodness, it just melted me. It just broke me. As I said to him, I said, "My God, Brad, right off the bat here, you are killing me right off the bat." He was just, it was, and from my point of view, Brad was working to keep it together as well. And I was just, Michael,
I
I
could
was
not.
just so deep. Again, I was
Yeah.
just so deeply moved, as you could see. It was incredible,
And
incredible.
I know one of the most beautiful parts of your story is that after you were let go at YNR when they were done with Brad Carlton, that Brad Bell was waiting in the wings. And
Yeah, as I said, there is a longer story to it, which I'm not going to,
of course,
but yes, he was ultimately, yes, he was waiting in wings, and as I said in my speech, it's one thing to be offered a character to play a job. It's another thing to be offered the character, and that's how I feel about Dollar Bill. The only thing better than playing Dollar Bill would be playing Dollar Bill on cable, where you know where
where you have
where
no constraints, no
yes,
constraints.
yeah, where the things I'll say in rehearsal would actually make the air. Uh, yeah, he gave me this sounds cliche, right? This role of a lifetime, and that's what he is to me. He is just a complete challenge and joy, and so many colors to him. And Brad has been just so exceptional in really letting me do my job, which is really giving me the ball. As I said, he gave me this wonderful description of this guy, of this character, and then he really let me flesh him out. And when I would check in with him on certain things I wanted to do over the years, I don't know that he ever said no. I don't know that he ever pushed back. And really, that even started with the look I wanted for him, which was, the hair, the beard, the jeans, the button down shirts, a little, you know, the belts, the shoe, the jewelry. book, including the sword necklace that became a character of its own at one point, and should have been put under contract. That sword was getting so much play. And he's just has a wonderfully collaborative nature. And
Yeah,
especially as fast as we move, I think it really works to our benefit.
what did you think about the moment where he showed that he had the necklace on?
Oh, are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? I was like, oh my God.
You know what? I almost didn't even hear anything he said, because when I saw him pull it out, I totally lost it.
I humbly remain your friend, your partner, and your #1 fan. And to prove it, I've never taken off.
Don, I'm telling you, they came up with things for you that were so perfect.
No, that was Brad. I mean, he penned that. It wasn't written for him. He penned it. It couldn't have been. My God, the intimate details out of his life and our lives, and his dad, and the creation of Brad, and just where he was at that time in his life. And oh my God, it's so funny when he talked about gathering around the TV and seeing me for the first time, his namesake for the first time. Oh, so funny, so
It was
poignant,
so funny.
so
He's like,
beautiful.
I didn't think it was going to be this big hunky guy when it was my namesake. It was going to be like, I was so thrilled because
had to stand a little taller and had to.
I was a little taller. And I was like, that is so funny. And the thing that's so amazing, and you said it in your speech, was that there was Bill and Brad, and you played Bill and Brad.
I played
Right?
Brad for the first half of my career and Bill for the second half of my career, and it's just so meaningful for me. And Bill, Bill particularly, as you know, Bill was quite a man's man, and I certainly heard him. If you were walking by his office at the right time and there was a disagreement about something on the phone, you could hear it.
I heard
you would hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would hear it. Yeah, he was quite a man, and that he was as kind to me as he was. I went through some difficult losses early on in my tenure at the show, and I think that touched him, and he was just very. I get emotional talking about it. Just very good to me.
It's a beautiful story, Don. Your story is a beautiful story. It's a human story. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. And I just want to say, I know you held the card close to you.
Yeah.
That he wrote. And I thought that was so special. And I think it's great that people, like, I know people that have something like that too. Like, they hold it close to their heart. They don't share it. It's for them to know that they take it with them. And I was so moved by that. And what we're talking about is that Bill Bell wrote Don.
I gave him as a gift an antique fountain pen set.
Right.
I don't know if it was a thank you. I don't know if it was a birthday. I don't recall what it was for, but he wrote his card to me with that antique pen, and talked about how this was a bit of a challenge. It'd been a long time since he'd used a pen like that, and just some really touching sentiments, and that I had that from his hand, from that pen, from the gift that I gave him, and he went to the trouble of using it. And as I said, it has been there on my desk since 1998.
I screen tested against 7 other guys that day, and to my great good fortune, Bill chose me. I was blessed to have a wonderful relationship with Bill from that day forward. I brought this with me. I'm not going to read it. It's personal. This note that I wanted to keep by my heart today. It has sat on my desk in a frame since 1998. It is handwritten by Bill with an antique fountain pen set that I had given him as a gift. Yeah, So I just wanted to have that with me. Hold it close for today.
I did show it to Brad when I joined B&B.
Oh, you did show it to Brad.
Showed it to Brad, yeah.
Then you had Heather,
Oh,
who really, I think she just was so eloquent and perfect how she said it. And it's so amazing that the bond you two have.
you know what's extraordinary, Michael, is I was thinking about this afterward. We spend so much time together on the set, and we socialize a lot in that we also talk about our lives, and we laugh and we joke when we're not running lines, and when we're not doing that, we spend a lot of time together. But it's not like outside of the studio, we're also hanging out all the time. You know, we don't socialize very much at all over these many, many years.
There she
But
is.
there she is. My Heather, my Katie. And we are extraordinarily bonded because, other than our families, the most people, we spend the majority of our time at work. And what's different about it as actors is that you spend time in these intimate, I don't mean intimate in terms of sex scenes, I mean intimate in terms emotionally intimate. You have to tell the truth in these stories, and you have to be truthful in your characters, and you have to access those emotions. And you're in it together. You really need each other for these scenes to be to work and to be so real and natural and truthful. And so the bond is extraordinary. But it's not like Heather and I and Cindy and James, like we're going hanging out all the time.
Right, you're not all hanging out. It's
at
just
dinner.
right.
And yet she's one of my best friends on the planet.
And she said something very emotionally to you that she knew, like, on one hand, people she could call in a pinch to count on.
100%.
And you were one of those people.
The people in my life that, if this stuff really hits the fan, I know they will be there for me. And you are one of those people. And I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so grateful to work with you and known you all these years. I love you very much. Congratulations.
And the best part was when she mentioned her 6 Emmys, and you go, you're responsible for 3.
Yeah.
Because you were in the scenes. You were in the scenes.
Still waiting for one. Still waiting for her to give me one. Yeah. No, she talks about it. She's like, she had this drought. And then she asked Brad, please, give me Don Diamont, which is probably the most flattering thing of my career. That Heather Tom requested to work with me. That's how much respect I have had and have for Heather. So then she joins the show, and then I joined the show, and yeah, she wins, and she wins again. So I take all the credit. And actually, it's funny, and I forgot this. I should have mentioned this. Is that I told Brad, I said, you're going to win the Emmy this year when I joined the show. He said, why this year? I said, because when I joined Y&R, your dad won the Emmy that year. And I took the credit. I said, so you're going to win this year, and and it's going to be because of me. And he won.
He won.
Having nothing to do with me, of course. But he did win.
Yeah, it was.
He turned around. Actually, he was sitting right in front of me at the Emmys that year.
You're kidding.
And I just leaned into him. I said, "Here." I even was that cocky about it. I whisper, "Here it comes," and it happens. And he turns around and he looks at me unbelievable.
The other thing was this guy, Thorsten Kaye. I mean, he was very emotional too, and he's a very funny, his sense of humor is,
Yes, we grind each other's gears a lot. We have a lot of fun together.
Have you enjoyed working with him? Because he's been.
Love working with him. We have very similar senses of humor. Very important to both of us. The scenes work. Doesn't matter who's getting the better of who. The scene just needs to work. He's just so, he's so present. He's such a fine actor, and very, powerful, and that's good for me. You need a foil, right? You need somebody to, especially a character like mine. You need a capable opponent to be working with.
Nemesis. The nemesis.
Yes. And he's wonderful. He's just a very good guy, and just such a fine actor.
So even before this happened, I wanted to talk to you about these scenes with you and Scott Clifton, where it kicked off the brain tumor storyline, and he has this huge argument, Bill and his son. And it was such a big scene. And Bill was so intense and upset with his son. And I was wondering what it was like playing those scenes, because those were incredible scenes, that confrontation.
Well, the first take of those scenes, I got extremely emotional, and we had to do it again because given what was coming, it just that level of emotion, they didn't want that level of emotion at that point. But the scene still played very well, and I understood why. I didn't know what was coming with story wise. So we reshot them in the way, and you saw the air show. But really, it was really more about Bill, and Bill being angry at himself, and instead of being able to take that in and hear what Liam was saying, he just got defensive, lashed out, and said things that he really didn't mean. He just knew Liam was spot on, and he couldn't take it. He just couldn't take it. And so that's how it came out. And then they had those really lovely scenes at lunch that
Oh my God, those were you did such beautiful work. I mean, I know how it really is, Don. And I really thought you were wonderful in that scene with also it's hard for Bill.
Yes.
This is hard for Bill.
It's hard for Bill. And you'll see stuff coming up that I'm pretty proud of.
I can only imagine. And where I'm going with this is I had interviewed Scott Clifton. We had done a live stream where he just talked about those scenes with you. But then at the event, what an amazing, Scott says you're like the dad to all of us, and you're like his dad. And I saw how emotional you were with that. And I thought that was so also extraordinarily touching and kind of true. I think that's how they feel about you.
I love these guys. I love Scott personally, professionally, Darren personally, professionally. Crew has joined, and he's a wonderful kid. And he's just a wonderful addition. He's got talent, and he's just going to grow and grow, and I think he's just going to be exceptional. His dad still sucks. I told her at the beginning, just whatever your dad told you to do the opposite. You'll be no, Josh is wonderful. I love him dearly. I do love Josh, and I'm just
he's great.
So incredible to have his son as my son now.
It's mind blowing, actually.
Yeah, mind blowing. Yeah. As I said, I kind of remember Josh on a skateboard coming into. Listen, you're in my home, so you're going to get everything that goes along with it. Everybody, you're in my home. You're getting everything.
This is what goes on in the home. Yeah.
Okay. At any rate, yes. So my feelings for my TV boys are very genuine, and it makes it easy for me to play. I have all these guys in my real life, and I'm able to draw on that, and I just really value those work. those work relationships and the interactions of those characters. And I love the I just miss Darren, man. I just miss
Darren is a
him
gem.
being
I
there.
really am
And
too.
the scenes between the banter scenes between
All
Bill
of it.
and Liam and Wyatt are so entertaining. I hear this all the time from fans and from the press, just how entertaining those scenes are. And I miss them. And then if we add crew to that mix, that would really be something. So we'll see. We'll see. I would love to see Darren back on the canvas.
I would too. I think that would be amazing. And then Beth Maitlin comes up with this, and that is like, I was standing next to Beth, and she came up with this just gorgeous sentiments to you.
I'm at a stage of life now where I think a lot about the people that made me who I am. And you are on the top of the list, Dawn. I love you so much. I have been accused of helping raise Don Diamont. If there is any, if there is any truth to that, I take it. Oh my gosh, congratulations on 20 years over there, 20 years over here. What a contribution you have made to daytime, to this show, these beautiful people, to the viewers, the fans all over CBS, and to me. And I'm so grateful for the chance to be selfish and talk about how much you've meant to me and how much you continue to mean. Congratulations. And long may you live. I love you, Diamond.
And I think back to the Tracy and Brad days. I mean, how that was so great, because in America, watching the show, you're the hunky guy, and she was not the typical pretty girl. And it was so great that they allowed that. I thought that was great. I don't know how you felt about it, but
I loved it. Are you kidding? And for a long time, well, I think you could see from how I feel about her and how important she was to me in the infancy, as I said, of my career. She was extraordinarily important. And I loved Brad and Tracy. That was a long time. Brad and Tracy were a long time. Divorced, married again. I mean, it was a long time together.
he loved her. Yes.
Yes,
Truly loved her. Okay.
yeah, for sure, no question. So yeah, again, Beth and I did Circus of the Stars together, doing the acrobatic horse act.
Oh my God, that's right.
You know what I forgot when I talked about, and then I stuck my hands in your crotch, with
the baby.
yes, yeah. Then I had to stick my hands in your crotch. You can't get more intimate than that. But what I didn't think about is that was Colleen, Brad, named after Colleen Bell, that baby that I delivered, and I forgot that. I didn't think about that when I did the speech. But yeah, Beth, as I said, I don't know that I would have become the actor that I became without having the good fortune.
Do you think you learned from her? You thought you
100%.
learned?
I said it. She was
100%.
Yes, of course I did. How could I not? She was just already so experienced and so present, and pushed me. If I'm not locked in and lasered in and present and listening and doing everything that we're supposed to do as actors, and I'm learning as I'm going, really. Man, I didn't have a whole lot of acting experience. It's not like I went to
Juilliard and came in.
For sure. So it was trial by fire, and I was just so fortunate to be working opposite Beth. Such a exceptional talent and such a good person.
And then your brother from another mother. I found this. I'm like, there they are. I mean, how great is it that like your buddy is Peter Bergman? Like, come on.
He's my boy.
How did you guys know? Like, when did the friendship really take off? Like, you knew, like, this is a guy. Was it always like that?
I mean, we got along right off the bat, except Peter, very New York. Peter, very serious actor.
Yes.
And I like to say that Peter had a bit of a stick up his ass, and I notably would like, in rehearsal, unless it was something heavy, something pretty heavy. Otherwise, I'm kind of clowning in rehearsal, and I don't
Right.
really let it go until
Didn't take
the lights come, until the red lights. So, yeah, I made it my mission. To make Peter Bergman laugh, to break his balls and get him going. And I think he would credit me with that. Yeah, we became very close very quickly, and spent a lot of time riding our bikes together, as he referred to.
Yes.
And yeah, my God, we've been such dear friends. Like I said, my brother Peter Bergman for so many years. Peter is as good as it gets as a person. Needless to say, as an actor, but Peter is as good as it gets as a person, as a father, as a husband. He's the best.
So the thing that was just incredible, and I've known you for probably 40 years. I've known you a long time.
Well,
30,
probably
30 or 40
most
years.
of the time.
I feel like most of it. And I never got an opportunity till this week to see all your sons there. I was so overwhelmed, and I was beautiful. I had never seen them all. There they were, and they couldn't have been more proud. And I just thought it was such an amazing moment. You must have been so
over the moon, and lucky, because there they are.
Here you all are.
Oh, that's a great one. Okay.
I love this photo. I can't believe Luca. I was looking at everybody and went, wait, they were 5.
I know, a moment ago. Just a moment ago.
Now look at this one.
Oh my God, look at that.
Look at that.
Oh my wait, keep that up. Keep that up. Okay. Oh my goodness. That's so great.
And you had talked about that they would come to the studio. They loved coming to the studio and hanging out. Right? Did they all do that?
That's when they thought Dad was cool. Then a couple of years go by, Dad's,
that's not cool.
That's embarrassment. It's amazing how quickly you go from cool to embarrassment. But what was amazing about it is that the timing was such. The tribute, the party, would have probably been on the Friday, last Friday.
Okay.
Because I think that was the actual day.
The 12th
of my 40th.
12th was your debut.
So, but we had Anton's graduation. So I left town Thursday night actually, to be there for his combination athlete and student graduation. So then he had his main graduation on Saturday morning, but he had that ceremony, the student athlete ceremony, Friday morning. So if not for that, it would have been that Friday, and I wouldn't have had everybody there. But because of his graduation Saturday, Lauren and Nicole came out from Miami. Alexander and Audrey came to Vegas from Arizona. Davis had just finished his finals at Sac State, where he's playing football. So he was now off. So that's why everybody was able to be in LA. Incredible timing.
It was incredible.
We wouldn't necessarily all been there.
It was incredible.
Yeah, amazing.
I'm
so thankful.
You had to be so moved to see that. It was
as you could see. Yeah, I was incredibly moved, and there was my magnificent wife,
Cindy. I love when you said my hot wife, and she's like, yeah.
I gave her other props first, then, and
you said, and my hot wife.
And
yeah,
she's hot.
Yeah.
True. Stating the obvious.
And you guys have been together a long time.
Long time.
Like most of the time I've known you, I believe.
A long time.
And is she like the fact that you're a soap star? Daytime, Is
His-
she? Is she like? Does she watch you on Bold and Beautiful?
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. She ever
Yeah.
give you notes? Tell you what to do?
No. He does not give notes. After the scene, no. Yeah. Yeah. You know, you should have played that. No.
So Xander, Luca, they played football. They all played. How many played football? I know Xander
Alexander, Luca, Anton, and David.
and 2 went to Indiana.
No. Alexander went to Indiana. Luca went to Duke.
Duke.
Anton, UNLV. Davis initially Ole Miss to play basketball, but then he transferred to UNLV to play football with his brother last year. And now he has moved from there to Sac State to play football.
Right. So was your goal? I'm going to have a football team of sons.
It was not my goal. I did after my losses, my dad
Yeah.
and my brother. I did hope for sons. So that is a dream come true.
So this is everyone that spoke, including John McCook, who I think you have a very nice relationship with as well.
Oh, I love John. Yeah, as you heard, I've known John longer than anybody. I knew John before I was an actor. He lived on the block with my sister.
So during your time as Bill, what has been like? What has been your favorite storyline? And was this storyline hard for you with Luna to justify what he did?
For Bill to justify what he was doing.
Was it hard for you did you seeing how he, got her out of prison and kept her at the house, and the way you kind of just had to justify the backstory of his past growing up?
I was anxious because I have always had my own backstory for Bill's past, which is kind of my own backstory of a bastard son and a extremely troubled relationship with his mother. Because how else do you show up as the most misogynistic billionaire playboy? Generally, that's going to be because
Something
that's for women and something that happened with your mother. So, when I first started playing the character and I had to create his world, that's what I created. So really, I've always played Bill as a self-loathing person. The bravado is everything you see, but in reality, he has a black hole in him, and there is no amount of money, no amount of companies he can acquire, no amount of women he can sleep with, no amount of more that ever fills that hole in him. So we touched on it a little bit. He alluded to that in the story with Luna. So he saw some of himself in her, and he didn't have anybody to help him. He really thought that he could help her. And that's what I played. So, the storyline with Liam where he tried to take Bill's company, that was very powerful. I liked playing that, because Bill's first child is his company.
Number one child is his
I
company.
believe that was in dialogue that I had something I'd called Brad about and asked him if I could put that in. Something to the effect of, I don't think you understand. Company was my firstborn.
Yeah.
So, that was a wonderful story. We really got to play some good stuff and everything. I love everything with Heather, from our first love story together, the first kiss behind the stage, after Bill didn't destroy the fashion show, whatever that was. He made the choice not to, he made the choice for her, not for his own self-interest. And the postpartum story was very powerful. I can't even remember.
I know there's so many. I wanted to say though, we've got to talk about this. So at what point on Y&R, the George Kaplan, like the reveal that he was going to be really George Kaplan?
Bill was done at that point. Bill was no longer in control of the show.
That's right.
That was Lynn Latham.
Lynn Latham.
Who knew that I was Jewish, and she wanted to have dinner with me just to talk about who I am and me, and we did that. And then Next thing I know, she's calling me saying, "Hey, this is a story I want to tell. How do you feel about it? You're not actually Brad Carlton. You're George Kaplan," which people don't really ever refer to ever.
Oh, George.
I'm
No.
Brad.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Sure. Why not?" And it's funny, that whole reliquary story.
Reliquary.
People were kind of like, "What?" And then, not long after that, all of that stuff with the artifacts stolen by the Nazis from the Jews across Europe, all that started to being topical news. Hello, look who's here, Mike. Look who did
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi. Papa.
Sorry.
Hi, Cindy.
I'm so
Hi. Well, your grandfather is a big star right now.
Say hi. Give Poppy a kiss. Can you give Poppy a kiss? Say hi. Bye, Michael, sorry, I'll take him.
Okay, you gotta go.
Bye.
Bye.
Say bye.
Say goodbye. Bye.
So my point was, there were two moms that played your mom.
I forgot that.
Yes, you had two moms, and the first was Millie Perkins,
Right.
and then there was this. I think it was Raver. Her name was. She came in, and this was your on-screen mom.
That's right. Yes.
And she wasn't it Rebecca was the mom?
Yes, I believe that's right.
Right. So
and she had a photographic memory, and she remembered all the logins of all of the artifacts that were stolen. And that's why they wanted to come after her and kill her.
Yes. And they've never done a story like that, though, on Daytime. And they very rarely, people write to me all the time, like, there's no Jewish characters on Daytime. There's no Jewish characters on Daytime. And it's a constant thing I get, and thing like, why are there no Jews on Daytime? And it is interesting. There just really isn't.
Well, the funny thing is that Jerry Douglas, right, John Abbott, was actually Jerry Rubenstein.
Right.
And I'm actually Donald Feinberg. Diamont is my mother's maiden name.
Right.
Which is also Jewish. Diamant is diamond in Dutch, but that was very funny. That was actually very funny. Jerry and I would joke about that all the time.
And aren't you Dr. Feinberg when we have to call you for medical problems?
Yes, everybody comes to me because of all my orthopedic surgeries. Everybody comes to me with their medical calamities.
I do
problems, and so I say whenever it's time when they start describing their symptoms, and I put on the Dr. Feinberg hat. And yes,
are there lots of Dr. Feinberg calls?
There have been actually a lot. Heather all the time because James is falling off his bike constantly
all the time.
So yeah.
You also mentioned the amazing Lee Bell, and you also said she was also a dynamo in her own right.
Yeah, powerhouse for sure.
Was she sweet to you? Was she nice, kind to you?
Beyond. As a matter of fact, there is a story. I just thought I was gonna get too long-winded. It was a pretty long speech as it was, but about, I don't know, a month into my character airing or something, 3 weeks into my character airing, I get a call on a Friday. It's Brad. I'm like, "Hey, Brad, what's going on?" And he said, "Well, hey, Don. I have your biggest fan. I have your biggest fan here. Wants to say hello." And I said, "My biggest fan? Okay." And all of a sudden I hear, "Hi, Don. This is Lee Bell, and I am your biggest fan. I love what you're doing with Bill Spencer, and you just keep doing it." And I was like, "Wow, Lee, thank you." I said, and actually, I was very touched. I mean, other than getting a call from Bill, this is as great as it got. And so we talked for a bit, and she was so genuine. And then Brad gets back on the phone, and he said, "Well, there you have it from the co-creator. I love what you're doing, buddy. Just keep doing it." And
that's so sweet.
Beautiful call. And,
that's so sweet.
So touching. And then I would periodically bump into Lee at lunch, around in Brentwood. And we had lunch together a couple of times. And she was just wonderfully, always through my career, just wonderfully supportive of me, wonderfully kind. And what an accomplished professional she was in her own right. A powerhouse.
Jacqueline McGinnis Wood showed up for you, pregnant, ready to have her baby.
Yes, I was ready for her to give birth if I had to be.
Give birth right there. And what do you remember about first initially meeting Jackie? And they had put you guys were going to be, Bill and Steffi were an item a couple times.
I just thought at that point that she was just scratching the surface. I think that she had such enormous potential, which she has more than lived up to. Just a presence, a true presence. Again, what a wonderful person, such a talented actress. And I just felt like, wow, man, when she really gets going and she gets material and some of that actually will happen through our story. Those scenes we did when she wanted Bill to leave Katie and Katie had the heart attack. Cause I don't know if everybody remembers, but it was very serious. He gave her the diamond crusted sword and she wanted Bill to leave Katie and them to get engaged and get married. And she was excellent in those scenes. Excellent in those scenes. I was like, wow, she's really going to kill it as time goes on here.
It was nice of her to show up ready to drop the baby. It was so sweet of her to come. I was like, oh.
I love her dearly. What a wonderful person. What a wonderful mom. What a powerhouse of an actress she has become. And just amazing.
So when you're reflecting back on this now, you see what happened this week. What are you feeling? Do you feel like, are you grateful? How do you feel about this 40-year run?
Grateful is,
I guess that's kind of a pedantic.
I don't have enough descriptive terms for it. I am beyond grateful. I have been so fortunate and so lucky and so blessed, and thank God for the Bell family. Obviously, Bill and Brad, Lee in particular. Yeah, man. I mean, I have made my living as an actor my entire adult life. I have not worked. So it's just been incredible. I take care of my family doing this and met such wonderful people, such talented people, such good people. Been pushed to be the best that I can be in this profession. Was demanded of me. You sink or you swim, right? You either deliver in scenes
or you're out,
or you're not going to be around long. It's as simple as that. Even when Brad created this character for me, I was pretty much an island. He had his half sister, but she wasn't a presence on the show at all. So he was really an island, and it's a half-hour show. So, you better do something special, or you're not long.
What was also interesting is when your son spoke about what you instilled in them, like how you raised them or what they took from you being their dad, I think kind of goes overreaching in your life with your work ethic, your home ethic, and what a great team player to have with you if you're working on a soap, which is so hard, the demands of the show, working in the medium, and just felt that that's what I took away, that everybody collaboratively just loved working with you. And I don't always see that, and that people don't always love their co-stars. And
I don't know that everybody loves me. I don't know that they do, because they're, if I don't like something, people know I don't like it either.
True.
So I'm not, it's not, the funny thing is, it's not like I'm running a popularity contest.
Right.
But anybody who knows me well knows I just want us to do the best work that we can do and keep these shows going. And, I don't have a lot of patience for prima donna stuff and people getting full of themselves. As much as I joked about when I said I'm really feeling humbled, and I'm concerned about expressing that because there might be some in the audience who push back that humility is not my biggest,
Yeah.
my number one character trait. But you know, by point of fact, as much as I like to have fun in rehearsal and I like to joke with the crew and all of that, when it is go time, just like in sports, you know, when the whistle blows, when it's time to go, it's time to go. And yeah, I guess maybe, you know, I'm that much more touched that to hear people speak of me in the way that they did, because it's not like I'm glad handing everybody and trying to make sure everybody likes me and you know,
Right.
it's
Right.
just I am who I am, and I love the people that I work with, thank God, and I am just so deeply moved that they feel the same way.
Did you see these cupcakes?
I did, of course. How can I? How can I know?
I'm like, look at that.
What am I wearing? I'm wearing a sport coat with a tank top. What am
I
I
don't think you're
wearing?
wearing any shirt. I think you're wearing just a sport coat, right?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't.
Is this the pool day? This is the pool boy phase?
Got to be around there for sure, right? But yes, of course. Yeah.
And then they did point out that were you sexiest man alive a few times on People? What was the deal with that?
Yeah, I was in the Sexiest Man Alive issue a couple of times. Yeah.
Does your wife bring that up to you?
I bring it up to her all the time. Yes, I remind her all the time.
Like, do you know who you're with?
That's Sexiest Man Alive, the most beautiful people.
We're all reminded all the
Yeah, I'm sure.
I know. I got to pull it out. I will pull it out. Oh, yeah.
He's smart.
Do I remind you that back in 1990? Do I remind you? See, I was so happy that the Sexiest Man issue came out in 2009 because that updated my material. I needed.
Yeah. They did this for you. They had cupcakes. Now this is you now, I believe.
They're definitely more recent. Yes,
This is more recent.
That's Bill.
That's Bill. Yeah. Don, thank you so much for talking with me. I really didn't want to let this go. This is a big thing, 40 years, and you have been such a good friend to me, and I really appreciated our friendship and knowing you, and the work you've done. I've always been in your corner. I think you do phenomenal work on screen, and I've just been. This was just wonderful, and you deserve all of this.
Oh, thank you. I totally appreciate your support over these many
years.
Many years.
Don't have another 40. That'll have 80. They won't have 80.
You imagine? Wait,
no, I can't.
Not impossible.
I don't know. It'd be like Wheelchair City, but
not impossible.
Maybe it'll be Sexiest Man Alive in
Sexiest Geriatric.
Geriatric man.
Sexiest wheelchair-bound drooling.
That's right. Well, we look forward to. I know we're going to see you coming up on some major scenes on The Bold and the Beautiful.
Yes, I'm looking. Yeah. That was crazy because I didn't anticipate that level of emotion going on for as long as it went on during the thing, and then I had very intense scenes to do. The rest of that 19 scenes in a row to shoot. They were very intense the rest of the day. I'm like, oh God, how am I ever going to get there after this? But so
we're gonna need. I'm assuming we're gonna need like boxes of Kleenex.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right, Don. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. Pleasure.
Watch him on The Bold and the Beautiful weekdays on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.